The Haunted House, number 14A, Curse from the Past. In the heart of Saigon, where modern skyscrapers rise high, there stands an old, abandoned house, left untouched for more than 60 years. The locals call it the Haunted House number 14, a place no one dares to go near after dark. The mansion, built in a classic French colonial style, has 2 stories, its once white walls now cracked and covered in tangled vines. During the day, it looks like just another rundown house, but at night, eerie noises begin to echo. Footsteps creaking on wooden floors, soft laughter floating in the wind, and shadows moving behind the cracked windows. They say that anyone who steps into that house will bring back a curse. The tragedy of the former owners. The house once belonged to Mr. Phan Than Vinh, a wealthy businessman in the 1950s. He lived there with his wife, Mrs. Nguyen Thi Lan, and their only daughter, Phan Ngoc Lin. One stormy night, tragedy struck. Mr. Vinh was found dead in his study, a knife buried deep in his chest. There were no signs of a struggle, and no one had heard a single scream. The police investigated, but no culprit was ever found. A month later, Mrs. Lan suddenly went insane. She started muttering incomprehensible words, talking to invisible people. One night, she threw herself from the 2nd floor, dying instantly. Their daughter, Ngoc Lin, disappeared without a trace. Some believed she had run away in terror, while others claimed she had been dead all along, her spirit still trapped in the house. Unexplained paranormal phenomena. After the family's tragedy, house number 14 was abandoned. But soon strange events started to occur. The sound of chairs scraping against the floor in the middle of the night. The echo of footsteps running up the stairs, even though the house was locked. Flickering lights, despite the house having no electricity. Some claim that if you stand in front of the gate at midnight, you will hear a faint whisper from inside. "Mother, I'm so cold." One man once rented the house to open a cafe. After only 1 week, he fled in terror. He later recounted how every night, after locking up, he would hear knocking from inside. One evening, he mustered the courage to wait and watch. What he saw nearly made him collapse in fear. The door slowly creaked open, but there was no one inside. The taxi driver's nightmare. One stormy night, Hung, a motorbike taxi driver, picked up a young woman dressed in white. She sat silently behind him, her hands cold as ice. When they arrived at house number 14, she softly whispered, "Sir, this is my home, but I have no money to pay you." Hung turned around to reassure her that it was fine. But the moment his eyes met where she had been sitting, she was gone. Rain continued to pour. In front of him, the rusted gate of house number 14 suddenly creaked open on its own. A cold gust of wind rushed past him. Without a second thought, he sped away, never looking back. A curse? Or just a mystery? Many have tried to uncover the truth about house number 14, but all official records have mysteriously vanished. Those who enter the house claim to suffer from disturbing nightmares for days. In their dreams, they see a young girl standing in the darkness. Her hollow, soulless eyes bore into them, and she whispers something no one can understand. "Don't stay here. Leave while you still can." To this day, no one dares to live in the house. It remains there, standing silent among the bustling city, a forgotten witness to an unsolved mystery. But if you ever pass by house number 14 at midnight, never stop and look at the 2nd floor window, because someone or something might be looking back at you.
Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification